Testing. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, having some technical issues. I was trying to use these. They wouldn't pair. So I had to use these.
Of course. They always seem to not pair when you're trying to do it. Those are the AirPods? Or no?
Yeah, I mean, it would connect and then it would just disconnect.
See?
Usually,
That's
if
what
the
happens with
battery's
me.
low, frustrating. And then
Ooh,
my
I like
camera
that
stopped working.
that new intro, man. That was cool. Was that new?
No.
That seemed new to me, but maybe I just never see it.
Well, I made a new one similar to the other one, but this one has you in it too.
I like that one.
Oh, it's hot. Anyways, how's it going?
It's going good, man. Look at my cool background in
Very nice.
honor of our Starseeds thing here.
Very nice. Yep, as you said it, we're going to be talking about Starseeds tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I'm not lagging here. Let me turn some of this other stuff off in the background. Discord.
At least for once, I'm don't appear to be lagging.
Mine it looks a little jarry by my end, but oh well.
Me? Look, Jory?
No, I do to myself.
Oh,
Now you
oh,
look smooth. For me, it looks like it's stuttering a little bit when I move, but
I had to shut my VPN off.
I ain't even using one. Anyways, Starseeds. So what do you know about that thing?
So, I actually learned what I know like within the past few days about it. Because honestly, I mean, I've always heard the term, but never really spent a bunch of time looking into it, And I come to the conclusion that star seeds and wanderers, from like when they're talking about the Law of One, are pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, it seems like it.
It's just a different term. So I put together actually a packet of papers that I learned because it's easier for me to read. But basically, so it seems that the term starseed is often used in connection with New Age and spiritual communities, which that's definitely the case. And it describes individuals who believe they have originated from another star system or planet and have incarnated here on Earth. Starseeds are believed to have higher consciousness and a sense of purpose to help humanity and the planet. That's definitely what I've heard. That's definitely the same similar things they say in the Law of One. They call them wanderers. Um, So the concept of star seeds suggests that these individuals have unique abilities, knowledge, or experience that set them apart from the general population. They are said to develop or possess a deep longing for their true home, a feeling of not belonging to Earth, and a strong connection to the cosmos. Sounds very familiar to the old wanderer idea, right?
It sounds familiar to me.
Yeah, it sounds familiar to me too. Starseeds may have psychic or intuitive abilities and a strong affinity for metaphysical subjects and an inherent understanding of spiritual truths. And
Also me.
like when I read stuff like that, it takes me immediately back to my childhood. Like I've always felt like I'm different. I've always felt like I understand. Like so when somebody explains to me complex spiritual stuff, I just get it. Like it's not complicated for me to understand it, nor is it possible. The possibility remains in my mind. Like I've never been able to be closed-minded about stuff, but I'm also able to intuitively know when somebody's feeding me crap. You know what I mean? Like, and now I've done enough research on different religious stuff and spirituality that I have a pretty good, I think I have a pretty good handle on all of it.
Indeed. And same here. I've always felt different. I've never fit in. Ever. I've always been the loner, even in school. I just, this is weird.
Was, man, same thing. Very much a loner. I think it's better
Well,
that way, man. I don't know.
well, yeah.
Not really.
It's actually what's weird is even when I think I was in middle school. I forget what school I was even in. Uh, I was just standing. We're at recess, and I was standing out in the field or whatever. Some random kid I don't even know walks by me and says, "What do you think you're God or something?" And then walks off. I'm like, "What the hell was that?"
Like kids are so weird and kids are mean, man, to be honest. Like honestly, I was bullied most of my life in school. That's why like I
I
have
was
the
too.
perspective that I have on life is because like I suffered immensely throughout school. Like
I hated it.
I did. I hated it at school too, man. But It's because I had a crappy home life, crappy school life. Like kids, it sucks. And then you have to go through life trying to unravel all that crap, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then this deep longing that you don't feel like you're from here. Maybe, I don't know.
Because you're not.
Right.
Same here. Now the question is, what origins do you affiliate with? Like me, I'm drawn to the Syrian star system, but I've also been told that I'm actually from the Pleiades, and I was actually told that in the astral plane during one of my dream experiences.
Right. That's let's see. I actually pulled a thing from Gaia about, because there's different categories. How do you know if you're a starseed? What is a starseed types? This is a good solid list of the different types of starseeds. This is like mother load, actually. So I'm just gonna list the different types. So Syrian, Palladian, Arcturian. For those that don't know, these are star systems, star clusters. Andromedan, Indigo, Crystal, and Rainbow. I didn't know Rainbow was a galaxy, but apparently.
That's actually a type of starseed, rainbow.
Oh, okay,
treasure.
a type of CC. Yeah. Okay, that's what it's saying. And then apparently Lightworkers are a type of starseed.
Yep. Lightworkers, starseed, basically the same thing.
Orion, Feline, Maldek, Lemurian, and Atlantean, and then Reptilian. Interesting.
Reptilian, yep.
So it's interesting, and then it goes into it's got a mother load, but I'll read like an example of the Pleiadian. So these star seeds come from the Pleiades, a star cluster known as the Seven Sisters, Messier 45, the Eye of the Bull, found within the constellation of Taurus. You can see a rendition of this cluster in the Subaru automobile logo.
Yep, I knew that.
Interesting. Didn't know that.
I drive a Subaru. That's what got me drawn to it. I look at the symbol and I'm like, that's from the Pleiades.
Huh, interesting. Pleiadians are the record keepers for Earth and claim that the planet is more than 600 billion years old. Interesting. The Pleiadians exist within a fifth dimensional frequency, which is where love and creativity are born. They are a matriarchal society that elevates women, children, and families. The Pleiadians behave much like humans, except for they far more emotionally and spiritually evolved. Some might use their advanced skills to maneuver human beings, although most have come to Earth to help it expand consciousness and evolve. Maneuver, huh? Interesting.
Supposedly, the overall goal of Starseeds or Lightworkers is to assist with the coming ascension of the Earth and the people on it.
Right. Yeah, so it says, according to popular belief, starseeds choose to come to Earth to assist with the spiritual evolution of humanity and contribute to the planet's healing and transformation. They are believed to bring wisdom, love, and light to help raise the collective consciousness to promote positive change.
Pretty much.
And that's, apparently it's what, for those that are not familiar with this idea, this is like advanced souls incarnating into physical vehicles like this, like our body here. That's essentially what it means. Not necessarily, coming here as in spaceships, but that could also be the case as well.
Yeah.
I mean, and then what it was saying about controlling people is like, you gotta look at a lot of the world like sheep. There's a reason why the Bible and all that uses the term shepherd and sheep, and the whole book of Enoch talks about, basically herding sheep, because the vast populace of people are unfortunately sheep.
You're definitely not wrong.
I hate using that term because now that's become weaponized too. And again, I don't want anybody to think I'm on any side of the political spectrum here, because I'm not. I hate both sides, okay? For God's sakes. So I know a lot of the Republican folks call everybody sheep.
That they do. Now I'm going to show you this site here. See if I can bring it up. Now these are the traits of a Syrian starseed, and they fit me perfectly. Highly spiritual, simple, relaxed, focused, repressed, daydreamers, animal lovers, silly, against labels, eccentric in appearance, difficulty adjusting to low energy, definitely. Let me scroll down a little bit here. A unique physical appearance, pretty unique, strange body sensations. Feel under intense pressure, which I do. I feel disconnected and distorted. Experience disrupted sleep, easily overwhelmed. Definitely me. So these fit me to a key. So that's why I think I'm Syrian. But I'm going to share with you that dream. I probably told you about it already. That what was it? I am from the Syrian star system, but my home was destroyed in a war. Mm-hmm. So I went to the Pleiades as a refugee, and that's how I'm connected with both the Syrian and the Pleiades star systems.
No, I actually follow a guy named Billy Carson, and he's like a really he's deep into like ancient history, and he's like spent tons and tons of time researching the Sumerian tablets. And they go what we've read about the Sumerian tablets and what I've read, they go much deeper. So, and apparently there was some type of a intergalactic war, like Star Wars type of a thing. So that's where the idea from Star Wars actually comes from. And apparently there was lots of refugees, like you're saying, that were like fled from one galaxy to another, and a lot of people came here. And that same war that has been going on forever actually came here, and that's what we're witnessing on a global scale today. Is like, hey, we're going to see which one of us can build the best civilization. And that's, to me, like, the world itself doesn't make any sense. It's never made any sense. It's like we're a freaking experiment, bro. Like, it, without a doubt, to me, like, it seems like, hey, we're going to plop some people here. We're going to plop some people here. I'm going to raise them my way. You're going to raise them your way. And then, you know, that's why we have all these different spiritual books. That's why we have, like, there's no, doesn't make any sense to me. And I know, like,
that's about how it is.
People would be like, oh, well, if it doesn't make sense, you should just make stuff up. The mainstream science has given us nothing. Okay, my friends, like, step away. Like, look into some of this stuff before you come down for me in the comments. Okay. Like, most people have not spent any time. Just like, for example, you know, the guy that was like, oh, there's plenty of evidence that Bigfoot doesn't exist. Show me the evidence that he does not exist, sir, because there's all kinds of testimony from people that say Bigfoot does exist.
There's more evidence than not out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at that. What's that video? The Patterson video? That's the original sighting. That's real. There's no way that's hoaxed. They can't replicate it with actual people. They tried.
I know. I mean, I believe it, man. I firmly believe it. And, like, I'd rather, you know, spend the energy in believing something like that could be a possibility than to go around and say, nope, that's not true. And, like, in all honesty, like, people like that do get to me sometimes, but that's somebody who just wants to, you know, push out hate to the world. That's it. They want to be right, and they want to deny anybody who thinks differently. It's always going to be the case with this kind of stuff. There's always going to be people out there who spread hate.
They call them trolls for a reason on the internet.
Yeah, 100%, man. And like, one of the things that, like, David Wilcock was always talking about is, like, he ended up having to stop read his comments, like, once he got to a certain level of fame, because, like, it becomes a toxic environment, like, because people are gonna hate, man. Mm-hmm. Like, when you're saying anything that goes against people's worldview, they're gonna hate. That's ultimately what this kind of stuff is. It goes against people's worldview. Anything that's religious, anything that's, you know, spirituality, anything that's ancient history, that people lash out like crazy. You notice that?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the main reason I struggled so long about even getting into the Starseed stuff as it is, because that's very, I don't want to say controversial, but it's beyond open-mindedness, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially you're not only combining the idea that we reincarnate, which is a controversial, but we also reincarnate from a pool of souls that are from different galaxies and different souls. But, like,
why not?
There's a part here that talks about, so most people don't know much about the universe itself. And there's like a whole list on here. Let me get to it real quick. Dun, 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 dun. Here it is. All right. So if you've ever looked up the sky and felt a connection with a blight planet or a glowing cluster of stars, you might feel your soul's connection to a past or future life. Given that you came from stardust, which It's irrefutable. We did. And you have been infused with divine light. You might feel a connection deeply in your bones. Is this an illusion, or are you born from a distant star? Are you a starseed? After hundreds of years of analysis, lately more precise evaluation, it's estimated that there are over 10 billion galaxies in the known universe. Many say that there are over 100 billion stars in the Milky Way alone, our home galaxy. 100 billion stars. So when you piece that together in an equation, it looks like something like, in a number I can't read, okay? That's 1 billion trillion stars in the observable universe.
Mm-hmm.
So
like to say, there's more stars in the sky than there are grains of sands on the earth.
Right. And think about it, man. If even one of those stars is capable of having a planet like Earth, that means that life exists in infinite numbers. Like the idea that this is all there is silly. It's silly.
I mean, just looking up at the sky at night alone, how can you even doubt there's anything out there?
I think a lot of the people, dude, a lot of people are from the city. So if you're from the city, you don't see the stars, go out to the mountains and go out in the middle of the night, pitch black, and look up. It's insane how many stars there are in the sky. It's mesmerizing. It'll
blow your mind if you've never actually got a good look at the night sky.
There's so many people that haven't. Most of the people I talk to haven't. Like when you get out and go camping, like you go out. I want to go out to the desert and look, like down in New Mexico area and all that. Woo!
Mm. All you got to do is go up to the Mount Rainier.
Mount Rainier is a good one. I tried to go up to this last time. The kids were all scared, but
what? It was too high up, or what?
Pitch black. They don't like it.
I mean,
I'm afraid of the dark too, but it's silly. I've been afraid of the dark since I was a kid.
Well, it's not that you're afraid of the dark. You're afraid of what's in the dark.
That's because I've seen things since I was a kid, buddy. I've seen the shadows.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget the Hat Man.
Manifest things in the dark.
Yeah.
I still, to this day, like my wife will laugh at me and stuff. Like, it's like silly. I'm out here, like, literally have to sometimes turn on the lights as I'm going down the hall and stuff. Like, sheesh.
That's pretty typical, though.
Yeah, typical of freaking the things. I don't know. A lot of things have happened to me, but anyway. So I'm gonna define a light worker here.
Here's a picture I took from up at a sunrise. You can see the Milky Way, the planets.
Yeah, dude. At the correct time, did you get it coming out of Mount Rainier?
I think so.
I think it's at like 2 a.m. or something like that. You can see it, the Milky Way erupting out of Mount Rainier. That was what I was trying to get.
This is at like maybe 11 o'clock or something like that. I wasn't out there that late.
It's gorgeous, man.
And
a lot of people, again, a lot of people think that that's just a projection. It's like a projector. Like it doesn't. None of those are real.
Or a hologram or something.
It could be.
I mean, you can't dispute it.
I don't discount the possibility of anything at this point in existence, but I want to mention a brief description of what a light worker is, because that is also the title of our thing here. So it says a light worker is the term also used in New Age and spiritual communities to describe individuals who are on the path of spiritual awakening and personal growth, and who have a deep desire to contribute to the healing and well-being of others at the world at large. Light workers are believed to carry and radiate a higher level of consciousness, love, and light. Pretty much very similar to the Starseed thing. As a matter of fact, I think we just said that this is the type. But so light workers are often sensitive and empathetic individuals who feel a strong calling to help others, promote peace, and spread positive energy. They may engage in various forms of healing work, such as energy healing, counseling, coaching, or teaching. Light workers can also be artists, writers, activists, or volunteers who work to uplift and inspire others. The primary mission of light workers is to raise the vibration of the planet and assist with the global shift towards higher consciousness and spiritual awakening. They do this through their own personal growth, healing, and by sharing their gifts of knowledge with others. Lightworkers are believed to act as beacons of light to others, helping to transform and uplift individuals and the collective consciousness. I have a friend named Jacob, and my friend Jacob is 100% light worker, without a doubt. Like, this describes him to the T. Like, that's him. And if you're
It's
watching,
actually
sir, thank you.
well, Lightworkers and Starseeds are actually more common than people think. And even you have the now what they call indigo children, and what it
Mhm.
is it's basically the same kind of thing but different generations. I
Yep.
forget what order it is. I think it's either Starseed, Lightworker, then Indigo, or Lightworker, Starseed, then Indigo. But the current generation, the Indigo children, are saying incarnate with more of their abilities intact than the other ones are.
Mm-hmm. Like I actually believe that my youngest child is an indigo child. I've said it since he was born. Like he was born, he has like the brightest blue eyes I've ever seen, and this child is like he shows a level of intelligence that I've never seen in a child, and like he notices things about like when you're sad or when you're like it just there's just things that he notices that it seems a bit advanced for a 3-year-old. You know what I mean?
Probably the case.
Do you know where the idea of indigo children came from? They originate.
Not specifically.
Let's see. The term indigo child originated in the 1970s from the work of Nancy Ann Toppy. She was a parapsychologist. I'm not sure what parapsychology is, but this
Paranormal.
parachuting? Oh, there we go. All
Well,
right.
to make it easier to understand, Ghostbusters, they were scientists of parapsychology.
Interesting. Didn't know that. And so she claimed to possess the ability to perceive auras. She classified certain children with a distinct blue or indigo colored aura as indigo children. However, the concept gained more popularity and evolved further in the 90s through the book The Indigo Children. The Kids Have Arrived by Lee Carroll and Jan Tober. According to belief, indigo children are believed to have a new generation of highly gifted and spiritual evolved beings who possess unique traits and characteristics. These traits may include high sensitivity, strong willpower, challenge authority of traditional systems, spiritual awareness, creative and innovative thinking, desire for change and social justice. Interesting, man.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that there's quite a few indigo children's.
Well, it makes you wonder, out of all the incarnates on Earth right now, and how many souls there are, how many are repeat incarnates and not brand new souls?
Right. Or if, like, is there such thing as a brand new soul?
Yes, I have a theory actually.
There would have to be, I guess.
Because you know how I say there's the ego and then the soul, two consciousness, more than the one. And I think a ghost, people see at a haunted locations is the spirit of the ego, not the spirit of the soul. And I think the ego could eventually become a spirit or advance to that level. And that's what a brand new soul is. It starts with the ego. So kind of helping the ego become a spirit.
I mean, that essentially makes sense. Like with the Law of One talks about ghosts as being thought forms and like thought, essentially the ego, like makes sense, man. So like they say that ghosts are like essentially a trapped thought energy, like something that like maybe you died in a traumatic experience and that energy is stuck there. I don't know.
That's what they call residual, like a residual haunting.
Right.
It's like a tape recorder playing back. It's not actually happening live.
What if it is a tape recorder?
We
live
never
in
know.
a simulation, man. Holy crap.
That's the thing. We might. And that's, even in our own beliefs, there's a lot of contradictions. How can we be in a simulation that's just the Earth, but yet we have starseeds from other planets being reborn on Earth? So how can we have both?
I mean, I don't think that the simulation, I think it would be naive to think that it's just the Earth. I think that if we lived in a simulation, it could be just like that game No Man's Sky that I was trying to remember last time.
Yep.
Where we have an infinite numbers of simulated worlds. Because I mean, if that game you can go to infinite worlds and go to infinite things, like how is it would be any different here? You know what I mean? So I think that it's way more complicated than just this one world. But I don't know. I don't think there's any way to really make it make sense. But
the Earth is a school, And one of the hardest schools you can incarnate to. I still try to wrap my mind around it too.
Yeah, it's hard. And like again, the more I learn about this stuff, the more I realize that the simplest explanations are the best ones. Like
Arkham's
just
razor.
love, man. Just what?
Arkham's razor. That's the simplest answer is usually the right
Oh,
one.
yeah, I would say that is honestly like if you look at the core messages of the spiritual masters, that's what you need to know. The core messages, not the nonsense political nonsense that they're trying to get you to go feed them money and all this crap. Just the core messages is all you need. Not the stupid rules, not the trying to mold people into certain things. Just love. Love of self and love of others. It's ultimately all you need, man. But people try to gum it up.
That's it.
Like, you don't need to go give the church 20% of your income every month to get into heaven, because that is not the answer. You don't need to pay these televangelists so they can drive Lamborghinis. If your person is driving Lamborghinis, then he is not a good person.
Right.
Call me or say what you want.
In my cars, we were struggling. The clutch was trying to go out, and they're driving Lamborghinis. So.
But by all means, if you want to donate millions of dollars to me, please do. Praise the Lord. Donate millions of dollars to me.
I'm in the wrong field.
Yes, no, seriously. Like, it makes me laugh every time I see these TikToks of the guy. Like, I never remember his name, but like, they ask him why he has a private jet, or he's like, the answers he gives are silly, man. He's like, how am I going to get to all these places?
Take a plane, fly commercially.
Like commercial, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you have a $35 million private jet. Like, oh.
Must be nice.
Doing God's work, sir. Doing God's work.
Well, it's like at the airport I work at here in Georgia, we have the Masters. And we have two separate buildings. We have the airport, and we have, what do you call it, the FBO building. And that's where the private planes and stuff are at. At during Masters, if you look out past the runway, all you can see is this huge line of never-ending private planes out there.
Wild.
Just some golfers coming to play golf.
Golfers make a lot of money, man.
They do.
I don't know. Like, I've always thought about it, man. Like, money like that. Like, my kid was always, he'd be talking about like building a mansion or having a mansion. Like, I don't agree with any of it, man. Like, me, if I had the money, I want to explore the world and go live everywhere. I don't want to buy a bunch of stuff I can't take with me. And ultimately, I would want to give the money back to people in some way. I want to put it into programs and help people. And like, that's what should be done. Yes, I'm aware that some of these people are helping people, but they're helping themselves a lot by having $32 million jets or whatever it was. I know the number keeps going up.
Like, here's a penny for you and $1,000 for me.
No, man. And like, people are still giving, like, how are you, this man has a private jet and you're still giving him money. Like, you're still tithing to this guy. It's like elderly folks who are sitting on the couch at home who got nothing better to give their money to except for this guy. And that's what they prey on. Like, you don't understand. Like, I used to do telephone sales and stuff, and like, elderly folks, like, well, they'll give you all their money over the phone, like, just for talking to them. And that sucks, man. That people are being manipulated.
Part. The elderly are the most people who are targeted by scammers.
Yep. 100%.
And then they get ripped off.
And what do you think these people are? They're scammers who, look, I can read with the motion from the Bible and get you to believe me 100%, without a doubt. I can do it right now, you know? Like, it's not difficult to do. That's all they're doing.
Acting.
And it's literally an act. And granted, yes, I believe in God. I believe in a lot of the stuff that comes from this information, but a lot of these people are false prophets, and that's what people need to get out. I know people will be like, oh, you're a false prophet. Yeah, that's cool. Believe what you want. But I'm not making $22 million and buying a jet.
Nope, not even monetized yet.
Yet. The answer will come soon, sir.
So help me out. Subscribe.
Yes, I'm subscribed already, though. So how did humans source information on starseeds? Do you know?
I would guess by channeling, maybe past life memories.
Interesting. That was one of the things. So the ideas and concept about starseeds came through channelers and seers who regularly connect with the Akashic records. So again, the Akashic records, that might be something to pull up because I cannot explain it. It is a source of information that you can get to through like deep meditative states. And Edgar Casey was said to be able to access the Akashic records. And if you don't, you should look it up because that is verifiable scientific data that this man was able to perform medical diagnoses from when he was nowhere near the people. Like he'd be able to visit them in outer body states, and he did this so many times, and there's so many records of it that it's irrefutable. And
Right.
we're talking like I think it's upper hundreds of people that he was able to heal and give proper medical diagnoses from thousands of miles away. And how else do you explain that?
You can't.
Right. Like, I've been reading this book called Think and Grow Rich, and it's talking about that. It's talking about if you can get yourself into access of this higher consciousness by, first controlling your thoughts, controlling your fears, controlling, what you eat properly. Like you can get into these states and access infinite intelligence, which is the mind of God or the mind of the infinite, whatever you want to call it. And another area of that is like the Akashic records. Like, I don't know exactly if that's the same. Is that the infinite intelligence? I don't know. Or is it a
There's
different level?
there's different versions. Some people say it exists in the astral plane, and it's a physical building like a library, but it contains all information that has ever existed at any point in time ever.
So yeah, that could be the idea of the infinite intelligence could be like one level, and then this could be literally a different dimension where you would go and literally physically go, hey, I'm going to pick a book off the shelf. That's the person I'm trying to get to. And
Hmm.
like maybe you have to do it in certain ways. Maybe certain people have this ability. Like maybe you have to do certain ritualistic practices. Who knows?
Well, like I say, I'm a sensitive. I think you said you are too, but with me, I can just know things. I can just pull it out of the air. I think I have some sort of connection with, the Akashic records, and I can just access information at will.
Yeah, the it makes sense, man. The idea of like being sensitive, it's important to note that like the studies that have been done on like the subconscious mind, it says that every single one of us are linked. So like that's the idea of like people that are more sensitive, like empathic people are able to pick up the thoughts of other people literally because thoughts are being beamed out of your head left and right.
Hmm.
Just like how you can, beam a radio broadcast across the nation, it's the same thing. Your thoughts are being beamed
Yeah,
out of your head left and right.
they literally call it brainwaves for a reason.
Yep. And it's again, it sounds crazy, but it's people. This
I
is
mean,
like literally stuff. When you look at a radio broadcast, it's
it's it's
information
medically
being beamed.
it's medically proven. When they do brain scans, they just put these stickers on your head, and it reads the waves coming off your thoughts. That's how you read your brain activity.
Yeah, if you want to get good, solid information on this, look at Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. This man has done. He is like a prominent neuroscientist, and this man has done tons and tons of brain scans on people and talks about how um, you know the you can focus on a stressful memory and you can turn on the stress hormones just by thought alone.
Oh, yeah,
And then the opposite also is true. You can create health with your own thoughts. So ultimately you could heal almost anything in your body by your thoughts, but you have to truly believe it. That's what Jesus was trying to teach you. He was trying to say, you know, he said it himself. He didn't heal anyone. He was the conduit. It was healed through him.
hmm
That's what you need to understand. It's the blind belief in him as a healer that healed the person.
and they call it the placebo effect.
Yep. That is the placebo effect. Like again, most people look at the placebo effect, have no idea why it works. Like your body can simulate the effects of anything.
Hmm.
Just like
Exactly.
in hypnosis, you can be told you're drunk. Your body will believe you're drunk.
Hmm.
crazy.
I'd want to be hypnotized just to experience that.
I do too. I've
heard crazy stories.
I haven't gone forward with it because I guess I could. I mean, I can go to see a hypnotist, but I want to go to somebody who's like metaphysical wise about it. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm looking for. I need to find somebody who can do like past life regression, but I also need somebody to be there with me because I want to document it. Like I want to,
of course.
I want to literally video it if they'll allow it, or
why wouldn't
at least
they?
record it.
Yeah,
because I don't want somebody putting auto suggestion into my mind, you know, and that.
You're an alien. I know.
Right, literally. But I mean, also that's what like the idea of the power of positivity and all that really is. It's you're hypnotizing yourself and impressing that information on your subconscious, man.
All right. I gotta see if there's any of those around here in this area. Any past life regressors in my area? Probably not. I'm sure up in Seattle there are a ton of them, but
I bet you, yeah, there probably is. There probably is some down there too. Jeez. Okay, yeah, these records. It actually talks about the Akashic records. I should have led with that. These records comprise the energetic imprints of all intentions, thoughts, emotions, relationships, creations, and events ever to have occurred throughout every race in all realms throughout all space-time. While much of this information is relatively easy to channel and comprehend, there are several perspectives on how starseeds come to Earth and the many types of starseeds. So in all realms, through every race, that's wild. So like they're the records of everything. Interesting.
Dang, what's that show I used to watch? It kind of touches on that. What is it called? It's based on a book, and the guy could somehow travel there, and it has a guy that can astral project at will. They do magic. What's it called?
Supernatural?
No, it's different. But when they go to the other world, it's literally like a flat Earth. Dang, but it's magicians. That's what it's called. The magicians. But the one guy, he astral projects, and he somehow ends up. I think it's supposed to be the Akashic records, and he's told he has to spend like 5 million years there to pay his penance or something like that. And it's really interesting. You definitely would like that show. It's called The Magicians.
I'll have to check that out.
See if I can find a trailer. I think it used to be on Netflix.
All right.
Let's see. Here we go, a trailer. Of course, I might get a copyright claim, but screw it. Hang on, I'm going to bring it up.
Copyright.
Well, there's a way around that. There's something called the fair use thing, where you can use as educational purposes. You can show different videos and content and not get a copyright claim. So, in this case, this is for educational purposes, using the fair share. Dang, I've already forgot what it's called, but anyways.
Fair Use Trade Act?
Yeah, that's it. Alright, just gotta find my thing.
How are people able to show full episodes of like anime and stuff, dude? I've been wondering that.
Well, I saw one earlier. They actually put in the comments that acts in the comments. I think because you can literally use it for those purposes. All right, I'm gonna bring it on now. See,
you're a kid and you have these notions about what life is, what it could be, but eventually you have to let all that go.
I learned magic tricks just to keep up with you. It was our thing.
You have to stop.
It's not for kids either. It's not a family show.
Magic is real.
What is this place?
Break Bill's University.
Am I
Hogwarts.
hallucinating?
If you were, how would asking me help?
This school exists to reveal your innate abilities and hone them to the highest degree. Let's see some magic.
Oh yeah, dude. I remember seeing previews of this.
That's the astral projector right there.
No, Quentin. Real magic.
Do some goddamn magic! Holy shit, I'm doing this.
You can grow this magic into something more. You can be a magician. I can't just go to Yale if I know this place exists.
This is no fantasy.
Well, I can see what you mean
You're
by
gonna
no
take over
kids.
the
It's got
world,
like
or-
the
We don't teach that, but give it a
they're
go.
doing
There's
the
gore.
nasty in the background. Oh,
There's-
jeez,
There's lots of gore and stuff in it.
death and sex. That's most people are addicted to here in this world.
And that's what's interesting about the show. People get addicted to magic and they turn bad, to become dark magicians, kind of.
Well, I was actually watching this kids movie.
Hang on.
Oh.
Where did I go?
What?
Where's my camera? Oh, there it is.
I was watching this kids movie. I don't remember the name, but anyway, it's about talks about magic and the history of magic, and the reason why it went away is because technology started to advance and we didn't need it as much anymore. So, the magicians went away into the shadows while technology took over. I'm like, that kind of actually makes sense, man.
They kind of do that in this show as well, but I don't know if you want spoilers or not, or if you even care.
Negative, sir. I'm about to watch it.
All right. I think there's 4 seasons, 5 seasons.
That's a lot of seasons, though.
Make sure, like I said, it's not for kids.
Yeah, I know. I've been watching a lot of stuff that ain't for the kids, sir. I watch it at nights. Maybe I'll replace Rick and Morty with it. I've seen them all already. That's my show. It's my jam, sir. I think Rick and Morty be hitting it on the head with the infinite reality or infinite stuff, man.
That's for sure.
All right. So, according to the channelers, this is another definition of starseeds. Starseeds are advanced spiritual beings from other planets and realms who possess spiritual and scientific knowledge that date back hundreds of thousands of years. It seems that while most starseeds are benevolent beings who seek to help all living beings throughout the realms of the universes, some seek to control interplanetary resources. Now, when I look at this, I immediately think of the Law of One and what we've been talking about. They talk about themselves as being benevolent. They talk about what's called the Orion Group, which I'm not really sure now that I've thought about it why we never mentioned the Orion Group when we were talking about the Law of One. Interesting. Yeah, so anyway, that's the dark side and the people that seek to control and manipulate mankind, essentially. So they seek to control interplanetary resources for the benefit of their home planets. Most agree that starseeds are traveling souls from other planets who incarnated on Earth to inspire and heal human beings and to participate in the planet's evolution, like we said before. It is also possible that these starseeds are physical descendants of aliens from other worlds who traveled to Earth to be our planet's lightworkers. Starseeds might also have been birthed through interconsciousness conception. Virgin births akin to the stories about Jesus. Interesting.
Very interesting. So Jesus is basically a starseed.
Yes, essentially that's what it says in a lot of these texts. Is like Jesus was in advance. He was from, like the Law of One says, he's from the fourth dimension altogether. He chose to come back and try to bring loves that would make him a starseed.
I think they say he's actually Palladian, if I remember right.
Could be. They said, in another text, they said it was quite literally the sun itself, the sun, which is our logos, incarnating. So he literally was God of our universe here. And then he realized that because the veil is thin apparently with these people. And then, I don't know.
It does make you wonder, because remember when he's being crucified, he's like, God, how can you forsaking me? And you think, how can a not-living father do that to his son? But it'd be easier to do that to yourself.
Yes, it's that line. There's also people that there's apparently a group of people that believe he was never crucified, that he lived on and fought underground. But
I have no idea.
I'm not going to go there because I believe that Jesus existed and definitely died. But yes, not touching that one. People will burn me in the comments, sir.
I don't blame you.
My goodness. Virgin births akin to Jesus. Remember I was telling you about the what was I talking about? The
Avatar movie?
Avatar movie, yes, the new one. That is definitely going to be the arc for that character over the next couple movies. That character was definitely born. That it was like a virgin birth type of scenario. She has like godlike abilities. It's definitely
Spoilers.
the planet.
Putting a disclaimer out there.
This is an idea. So I believe that it's the planet itself incarnated as that character.
That makes sense, though.
I got you, James Cameron. I got you figured out, sir.
Well, didn't it say James Cameron actually got the idea for Avatar by his dreams?
Yes. So, again, I actually watched a show on Gaia called Hollywood Decoded, and I got deep into these subjects for quite a long time because I was always had the idea that they're telling us the truth in Hollywood movies, and that show went in and investigated where the directors were getting their information, and a lot of people are saying that they were fed information by these government officials in a lot of these different movies, like The Matrix, for example, the Avatar series, and it was like they're fed information by the people truly controlling Hollywood. So they want to tell you the truth, but they tell it in cryptic format, so you have to do the work to believe it. It's the same way, the same principle as like why the Bible is so coded so crazily. Like you have to seek the information. You have to you can't just read it and get the answer. You're taking it literally. That's not what it's meant to be. You're meant to actually not only, experience the information, but actually do the work.
Well, that being said, Wes Craven. You know who Freddy Krueger is based on, right?
No.
The Hat Man.
Oh, really?
You had the
That's
idea.
wild.
There was this thing going on back in the 80s where all these immigrants were coming over, and they had this thing going on that in their dreams something was killing them, and they described the Hat Man, and he was reading the paper and saw that. He said, that'd make a good horror movie. So that's why Freddy Krueger wears the hat and everything. He's on the Hat Man. A being that I've actually seen.
Scary, man. Like, I don't doubt it, man. Like, I've seen even my wife has said it as of late, like the shadow figure. So a lot of people who are on the sensitive side of things will see, like, you'll swear to God you've seen somebody in the hallway. You look over, they're not there. That is like you're picking up on thought forms or energy that's in your house or ghosts. A lot of people can see them, and it's super hard to catch this stuff on video. These guys that we had on the show beforehand, they got some really good shots, man, that they've been sending, like at that cemetery.
Yeah.
But we're trying to deal with something it's like interdimensional. It's like trying to catch UFOs on thing. Like you're dealing with something that's beyond our comprehension.
Well, with UFOs, they can actually vibrate out of our frequency. So they're still here, we just can't perceive them.
This is true, man. Let's see what else we got. How do you know you are a starseed? How do you know if you're a starseed is the thing here.
You just know.
I mean, yeah. You may have a
In a
quiet
nutshell.
sense that you came from somewhere beyond this planet, and you can imagine your physical appearance from prior lives and other worlds. Like you say, maybe through your dreams, like you're having dreams that you were in a far different... Like if you're having any dreams where you're encountering extraterrestrials or you're on a different planet, you're definitely not from this earth.
All the time.
Because your dreams are... If they're dramatizations of your subconscious, if they're memories, like they're saying, then you had to have gotten this from somewhere, right? Like, shit, I believe that the Avatar movie is literally describing beings that we've probably encountered. Like, I mean, they're like, what, probably 12, 13 feet tall in that movie is compared to the regular humans, and blue-skinned. I mean, I don't know.
Well, the thing about the Sirius star system, it's set up, there's 3 stars in the Sirius star system. The Sirius A, B, and C. And there's different types of beings out there. You got the dolphin species, you got the cat people, then you got blue skin people, which I believe I originate from. And the reason that being, I've been writing a book since the 90s, and my main character is based on a different planet, and they have blue skin. And this is before I've ever seen Avatar. It's before I even knew about starseeds or any aliens with blue skin. I just always been drawn to that, and now here we are.
Right. Insane, man.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, one of the things says, maybe you fantasize about life in other galaxies with the hope of incarnating somewhere in future births. You might also be wondering how you got here and if you'll ever return. Even with these real feelings of alignment with other worlds, you might never know whether or not you are genuinely a starseed. We all seek belonging, alignment, or kinship with family, group, culture, or society. To fill our hearts and inspire us, we crave acceptance and connection. To help us identify where we might belong, we adorn ourselves with labels and make us feel special. That make us feel special or unique. We might say, "I'm a 7 on the Enneagram," or "I'm a recovering Catholic," or "I'm a conservative Democrat." Recovering Catholic. Oh, that's weird. Okay. "I'm a conservative Democrat." I might even say I'm a starseed Pleiadian, to be precise. Whether they're based in truth or not, we love our temporary self-identities, the personality constructs with which we build our personas, relationship, and lives. When traditional titles and archetypes fail us, we hunt elsewhere, even in the stars. That is not to say that your reality as a starseed is not incorrect. It is to offer the idea that some, if not all, of our birth imagined could be illusions. So that's what that's saying, is that's the opposite side of that. Like everything that we imagine could essentially be illusions. Like just like the entire reality could be illusion itself.
Yeah.
Like, who knows, man? Ultimately, the other side of this is, again, that we all come from a singular source and we're all just identity. That's what they say in Law of One. But they also say that wanderers exist, which would be starseeds.
I've heard a lot of people say that they know they're starseeds, but they don't know from which system they're from. Apparently that's the biggest challenge, is knowing which one. And eventually I found out Syrian and Pleiades is for me. But you got so many other systems out there.
Let's use the Andromedan for an example. So this loving, benevolent, and telepathic race is from a spiral-shaped Andromeda galaxy, otherwise known as MS31 or M31. These beautiful beings have one mission: to bring peace and love to the races enslaved by the reptilians.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Draco.
only heart-centered, Andromeda beings are also intellectually advanced and masters of all categories of science. The balance in left and right brain gives Andromeda a unique position in the universe. It's interesting. That's the one I picked. Just random.
Maybe that's where you're from.
Interesting. See, like when you read these descriptions, man, like, so these tend to be shamanic types. These tend to be like, I look at the races of people around the world, and to me, this makes sense. Like, we have different groups from different galaxies incarnating here. That's why we all look so differently. Like, we all have different gods. We had, like, the Native Americans lived, like in harmony with the land. They had different gods. Like, think about it. What if we are quite all literally from different galaxies?
Well, what's interesting is that each race back in those days were categorized by color. The red man, the yellow man, the white man, etc. What if they're literally different colored beings of other worlds? And those traits that somehow carried over.
Like, honestly, man, that's actually what I believe. Like, if I had to get a idea of how I think that everything in this world came to be, because regular science is not good enough. It doesn't have a good enough explanation for how we evolved into what we are. Like, regular spirituality or regular stuff, it doesn't make any sense. Like, as far as that, like, why we all look so differently, why we all have different gods. Like, I honestly think, man, that we all come from different places.
It makes sense. And that's the biggest clue. It's the Tower of Babel. Maybe the Tower of Babel was actually some sort of teleportation receiver. And as people arrived here, they all went their own ways because they couldn't communicate.
I mean, it could be that, or it could be that, like, at one point, we all started to work together as different groups, and then the people controlling the game didn't like it and split us. And, like, who knows the true story on that, but, like, I don't know. Because the Tower of Babel, there's, evidence that it really existed. And, who truthfully knows, ultimately. But, history itself is is ridiculous because you have no idea if it's true or not. And anyway, when you start going back thousands of years, you have no idea if what you're reading is the truth. You don't.
You don't.
Within the past people or so, within 100 years, like, yes, you have verifiable. Yeah, there's people alive. They can verify this. They can verify that. But beyond that, if somebody changes a paragraph in a textbook and starts teaching a generation that, everybody's going to believe it because what else are you going to believe? You know what I mean?
It's like I said before. Let's say there's a big apocalyptic event, and let's say 3,000 years later they are digging around, find a book that's called Harry Potter. I'm like, oh, this is their history, and they think it's real.
Dude, and that's a lot of stuff is probably that. The Sumerian tablets could be 100% that. It could be it could be a story.
We just
easily.
don't know.
And then it's, the person deciphering them could easily have twisted what he was deciphering to create a story that satisfied the people running the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This has been a good one, man.
It's like you say, when you get those tingles, I think that's when you're picking up the truth.
Without a doubt, man. So, like, again, the book that I've been reading says, like, when you get that, it's when you're getting to the level of infinite intelligence. You're getting to the consciousness of God, if you will. Like, when you get those tingles and you get that, sparks up your back, that's when you're starting to access something higher than yourself. And they say that an important note, this is for you, is for me, that a lot of these super rich people, so this guy studied 2,500 people. And he said 97% of these people got their riches when they were over 40. Like Henry Ford, like all these super, super rich people hit their stride when they're 40. And they say you start to be able to get to these levels of consciousness a lot easier when you're 40, or like in your older, as you get over like 35, 36. And like my whole way that I think has changed, within just the past year.
Oh, me too.
Like 100%. Like, honestly, man, it's going to keep doing this stuff as much as possible, and we'll hit that stride together, sir.
That's right. I mean, you've seen in the past 2 weeks, just putting out more videos, how more subscribers I've gotten already. Something's
just
going
fun
on.
to do, man. We're just keeping it real and keeping the. But it does say, like, this is for everybody, man. Like, any amount of fear you let into your mind will destroy what you're trying to pray for. So any amount of fear, any amount of anxiety, you have to let it go, because that's why people don't get what they want when they pray, is because the fear in the back of your head is the dominating factor. That is going to be the magnet that's going to magnetize all this crap into your life.
That's
it's true, man.
Right.
All of it's true.
I agree. Totally.
Woo! That was a fast hour.
It sure was. Wow. Great show.
Yeah, I didn't even finish my whole paper, but that was I didn't think that this topic was going to have this much information.
It's pretty broad, actually.
Yeah, I didn't even get halfway through my notes here.
Yeah, we could do a part 2 next week, then.
We probably could do a little bit more on it. I can throw in the Wanderer stuff, too, from the Law of One.
There you go.
We can talk about the also the Orion group that I somehow failed to mention. There's actually a lot that I didn't talk about, but
we can go into more of the specific types of alien races that the Starseeds come from, like the Syrians.
Let's make a note of that right now. Different specific extraterrestrial races, or alien is racist term.
Off-world beings.
Yeah, we could talk a little bit more about all these different freaking UFO sighting stuff that's becoming very, very mainstream too.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
Like, why am I hearing Tucker Carlson talk about UFOs, bro? Like, this is, what world do we live in that we got Tucker Carlson talking about UFOs? Like, this is wild to me. This used to be taboo as hell.
It's coming out into the open now. It's mainstream.
Like, now I can't even like the subject anymore because we got people like that talking about it.
Right. Gotta find something else now.
Anyway, all right. Made notes. It's been glorious, sir.
Always. All right. Well, thanks for being on. We'll catch you next time.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You too. All right, so we're going to wrap up tonight's show here. That was Mr. JP333 on our discussion about Starseeds, Lightworkers, Indigo Children, and etc. We're going to cover a little bit more next week in more detail. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below in the comments section. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you haven't already, give us a subscribe. Help me out, show your support so these videos get out with the YouTube algorithm and get us more of an audience, get more views, more subscribers. So eventually I can do this full time and have no limits and be held back by working full time at a regular job. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next week. Later.